What can be said about the definition of the word enigma? Only that it is something difficult to describe, difficult to explain, and it has complicated significance, especially as we move to certain topics. In this episode of the Enigma Sessions, I will be doing a special covering the service of Hispanos in the military. And starting off is another one of my longtime friends and prior service member in the United States Marines. We will be talking about his origins, his early life, and early signs of entrepreneurship, as well as how he came to the decision of joining the Marines, and what it meant to him on both the good and the bad, as an Hispano and as a Mexican. This is Corporal Martinez. So coming back to the ESL sessions, the Enigma episodes, for this round of interviews, I'm actually going to be doing something very particularly. And starting off with this one, I actually have a longtime friend as well as another fellow service member who is a prior Marine, and he will actually introduce himself. We're going to keep his name a little bit off the record, but just for the instance of the interview, it's just going to be bro, dude, or whatever. But yeah, man, whenever you're ready, if you want to go introduce yourself in whatever name you want to use, we're going to keep it anonymous.
Yeah. All right. So my name is Corporal Martinez. There's a lot of us, so it's going to be very hard to find me. But, I was in the Marine Corps from 2013 to 2017 active duty. I just pretty recently am about to finish my end of acts and inactive reservist thing pretty soon. But yeah, I've done a lot of things in the military. I was a water support technician and a combat marksmanship coach, but mostly I did a lot of infantry things with the combat engineers, even though I was in a wing unit. Uh-huh. But yeah, being a Latino in the Marine Corps is a different perspective, compared to every other branch from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, dude. So, well, here before we start getting off into that, that's gonna be with the specifics of this interview. So like I told you, right before we started recording, dude, it's literally just I'm trying to get the point and perspective from us as Hispanos, Latinos, Latinx, however you want to identify yourself, or however anybody identifies themselves in current service, how our perspective is as one, being children of illegal immigrants or immigrants to this country, doesn't have to be illegal, and then also being either that little weird melding point between that first generation and that second generation, but also how our personal experience as kind of a role serving in a different military with some pride and then some heritage and even some, how can I say it, even some allegiance to our birth countries, how it kind of affects things, and then also other stuff about personal experiences with identity. But like I said, before we start heading off with that, how about we start off from the beginning? How about you tell me a little bit about from when you were younger, a little bit of your middle school, high school days, and then a little bit, and then we'll go a little bit more deep into your military service. So keep it vague if you want. Keep it vague if you want, but where were you born? Where did you grow up? Your first early years.
Yeah. Okay. So I was born in almost the last end of the early 90s, 94. But I was born in Mexico, and I didn't come to America until I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. The funny thing was they didn't think I could speak English, but I knew math so well that I didn't have to take math all the way till middle school.
Okay, dude. Damn.
So I had 2 English classes to perfect my English, but still I have issues pronouncing things, or every so and so my words go backwards. But I still have fun, My school was pretty fun. This is where I got to meet you, in high school I got to meet you, Jose.
Yeah.
It was a good old time. I had I think back around junior year, I decided I was going to join the military.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think we talked about that. We really talked about that a lot, during ESL class, which we didn't really know each other during middle school, because you got to Nevada during middle school, right?
Yeah, I was in Nevada around elementary, and then middle school I moved to Fernley.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, dude. So yeah, and then we really didn't meet until like your freshman year of high school. So yeah, dude. But here, let's bring it back a little bit. So you're born in Mexico. You
Yeah.
come to the States. You come legally or illegally? If you want to share that.
So well, I got my citizenship and everything. I came illegally with my family, and funny thing was, us being kids, we have to either being told like to stay quiet or don't say anything. My family drugged me, so I didn't try to like fight saying what my name was because I had a fake green card.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
No, dude. I mean and that's a really common thing that actually does happen. Like even like assuming a different identity just to be able to get across. So that's like your early life. You already coming. You're coming from Mexico. You're already in the States. How was it like for you in the beginning time of the States? Like interacting. Like you already understand English. You already spoke a little bit of English. You're pretty much a prophet in math at this point. But like, how was your early interactions like with middle in like elementary school and like elementary teachers and stuff like that?
So like yeah, so like to cover that aspect, I was like everybody was looking at me, and I knew only a couple words. And my stepdad like gave me an Xbox when I was in Mexico, and I had a menu in English, so I had to like connect the dots. But when I was in school, like people thought I was like a special ed kid because I wouldn't understand, and I kept tilting my head like with a smile. I'm like, I don't understand, but they thought I was my way of communicating like I am dumb. Pero cuando empezamos las matemáticas, like they saw me that like I grab my paperwork and then I turn it in on the teacher and then I walk away and the teacher's like, how? And like it was my grandmother that taught me that. Like she told me like the main language that unites everybody in el mundo and like everybody is numbers. And she's like, if you know your numbers, no matter what, that shit will get you in places in the world.
No, dude, and that's crazy. She's right, and it's funny too that you actually bring that up. And I wanted you to explain that a little bit more because in the previous interview, I actually talked to Juanita, and she's actually going through with like the ESL product, the ESL projects on being like a secondary teacher and like assisting in that. But one of the early experiences that she actually had, and she like really went into it more as a substitute teacher, but also as an ESL. I would call it studying ESL. She went and she actually explained that it's like it's not going to make too much of a difference, regardless of how we go into the subjects. It's like you already have kids here that don't understand the language, but they're good at everything. So they're overlooked. And then like I said, you bringing that up is an actual pure example of how us as products of the No Child Left Back initiative, it kind of fell into that, dude. But
Yeah.
so you excelled at math. So let's keep it moving forward. You excelled at math. You started learning English. By around what grade did you actually like start to comprehend and like all right, we're able to communicate a little bit more
So
comprehensively?
I so I had to start fourth grade, but they made me redo third grade. So around fourth grade, I was trying to speak it more, and I was more like confident, and then I could start conversations. Eventually, like I would go with my mom, and I would translate stuff for her without my stepdad like coming in or like, you know, her being scared about it. Like she felt more confident now that like her own mijo was like with her, and he could translate most of the things.
Yeah, dude. No, and that's like I said, dude. That's pretty common. So fourth grade, fifth grade, you start going in. You're a little bit more confident in that. Now let's keep it moving forward a little bit. So how were your middle school years? Like I said, so mainly I'm trying to touch up on the points of like the ESL, being an ESL student. So how were the middle school years for you? You're a little bit more confident. You're a math whiz basically, and
Yeah.
you speak English and Spanish, dude. You're Duolingo basically.
So yeah, so this is when the funny things happen. In middle school, like I was able to speak now, so I wanted to be more social with everybody else, like everybody, blacks, whites, everybody. Like I didn't just want to stick with my community. I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you. I never know you. I never got to learn from you. Eventually, like nobody wanted to talk to me because I acted out weird. So then I decided to be like a tough kid, a dumb kid. I was throwing parties, like drinking and smoking already in middle school. And being where we used to live, shit like that used to happen because kids didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, no, that's true, dude. I mean, I can definitely attest to a couple bad decisions I've made during middle school and during high school. So yeah. So then you shifted to a different personality, which honestly, like, we both understand it's a pretty common personality about wanting to be an accepted party towards like
Yep.
everybody around us, but also kind of like the continuous pitfalls of growing up in a small town, because like you remember, dude. You remember how small Fernley is. I mean, it's ridiculously shallow when it comes to like the depth of what's available to be able to actually do and to excel. And most of the
Yeah.
entertainment, I mean, like you said, dude, it's either drinking, drugs, or just any type of vandalism, just to be able to try to like keep yourself entertained.
Yeah, and also, there were some moments. I don't know what that American show is where like that father is a druggie and there's a bunch of like kids that he has with the
Oh,
like the
yeah. Shameless.
shameless. Yeah, that's the best way sometimes to describe Fernley.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
dude.
like most people that know it there back then now they're like everybody just knows Walmart is the place to go, but back then it was Scolari's.
Yeah.
That was it.
Scalari's freaking jumping back and forth between the in and out of town park, and then crap, man. There was just so many places that I could mention, but then again, I don't wanna like throw away our spots from back then, because
Yeah,
keeping the
yeah.
code kind
Uh,
of.
Yeah, but like, let's just fast forward like around like high school and everything. Like,
Yeah,
I got to know people and I got very social now, have a circle. And then by my freshman year, my family is like, we're gonna move now back to Sparks. I only lived in Sparks for a month, and then we moved to Fernley, and they're like, now we're going back to Sparks. And I was like, all these people, all these friends, now I'm gonna like lose them. But
yeah,
like the best thing was like once I disappeared, I still kept in touch with you and some other people, like Manuel, Sergio, Jesus, and that was a great connection. But like, leaving everything behind is so hard for a Latino, especially because we're like very social, like group people, and we like grow with families and we start knowing people, and then once you like move from one place to another, it just gets weird, man, all
yeah.
over again.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's really how it kind of goes into how we're gonna start talking about your experiences in the military. But yeah, dude, no, I definitely understand that, because a lot of what makes us social is that aspect of community, and to be able to kind of lean on one another, and then lean on each other with things, and then to be able to confide in others. But yeah, dude, no, I remember those times. But here, let's back it up just a little bit with that. So we started. I still remember, like, dude, we met in ESL class, in Miss Urrutia's ESL class,
Yeah.
and we started. We clicked, dude. We clicked immediately, dude. We've known each other for well past over 10 years at this point, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about it, dude. When did you start thinking that you wanted to be a member of the military? What caught your attention, and then specifically, what caught your attention to the Marines?
So like, I had like some personal family issues back then, but also like I had college credits and everything, but I wasn't feeling school anymore. Like the way I acted up in school, like if I knew a subject, I just lay my head down and sleep, and then I'll wait for the schoolwork or the paperwork, and I'm like, whatever, I got homework and I'll finish it. Like I'll pass with a B, but I'll never show that I'm really smart. So I passed with like a 79 or a high B, but when I got A's, it was like math always. And I was like, I just need a change in my life. I was like, I'm tired of like doing school. So I was like, I need a quick change and like to learn better responsibilities, even though what I had. And I was just like, I had a friend who's like, I'm joining the Marines. And I was like, yo, put me in. He's like, are you doing it so I can get promoted? I'm like, nah, just, you know, 1 second, you're just have a set path for life. Other second, an opportunity happens. You're like, hey, what could go wrong? And like that's just what I did. I just hopped on the train for the Marine Corps.
Dang, man! Wow, you are one of the first people that I actually have like met, honestly, met that, well, not one of the few, one of the first people that I've known that has actually been in the Marines that has not been like, yo, this has been an itch from when I was a little kid watching Rambo or stuff like that. I wanted to be a Marine. Yours is
No.
no, dude, that's funny though. Yours is literally like a whim decision. It's like, you know what? But it's funny though how as an underachiever, like noticing how you explain it as an underachiever, you're definitely talented enough to be able to strive to greatness. And honestly, a lot of the people that I have met that go into the military, that are successful in the military, like whether they just do one tour or not, dude. And I don't know if this has been the same for you, is like usually have a really high self-confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But like the funny thing was, like when I went in and everything else, everybody in my family got shocked because they're like, "Oh, you're ready for college? So like now you can show your true self." And I was like, "No, I'm joining the Marines and I'm gonna see what happens." And man, it was a lot different than what I expected. Like when I first went trying to go in, I told my recruiter like, "Hey, I just want to die." But then I told him, "Hey, but if I want to go out doing something great for this country at least." So then they're like, he looked at me, he's like, "Are you suicidal? I can't let you in." And I told him, I'm not suicidal, but I'm willing to like give out my life for something for a good meaning. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, dude, I definitely get you on that. So, all right, dude. Here, well, let's touch back on your family's reaction. What was their actual reaction like? Your mom, your stepdad, because you have siblings too, right? I remember you have a sister or a brother.
I had sister and two stepbrothers.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, no, my dad was like, my stepdad was like a little like not surprised, but my mom got like blown away. Like she's like, "Where did this decision come from?" She's like, "Is it from your video games?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just not liking the way the road is looking up." I was like, "I don't want to stay in Reno any longer." She's like, "You could see other countries, other universities. You don't have to stay here." I was like, "Nah, I'd rather explore with like instructions and a good goal set." I was like, "That's what I see in the military."
No, okay, dude. Dang. So your mom was a little bit hesitant on your decision of this new path that you're taking. Now,
yeah.
Now with that though, dude, like it kind of sounds like she had a bit of a pre-planned like trail for you to be able to go to college, get a doctorate. I'm pretty sure like get a master's, a doctorate in something specific, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did she want you to be? Is the question.
So like she knew I was very good into business and everything. Like I'm just going back a little bit, but like some of the troubles that I did in middle school is like I held on. I did backyard fights and I let people fight and I let people bet to watch or like see who would win or lose. And then after I got in trouble with that with the principal, I started selling Mexican lollipops and I was like giving free samples and I was raising the price the less quantity I had from like 25 cents all the way to 75 cents. You know, law on demand.
Damn,
and my mom
man.
knew that like I wasn't stupid. Like if we need to make money, I figure out something. Like in Mexico, when my stepdad gave me the Xbox, I literally like put like posters around the neighborhood, and I'm like, "Hey, try out the future. No one has an Xbox," because I was down south in fucking like Cuernavaca, and I started charging people to play like 2 games, and like I made that same amount of money as a nurse does in Mexico in one day.
No shit, dude. Damn, Mr. Entrepreneurial Spirit, dude. That's fucking crazy, man. That is crazy as hell, dude. But no, dude, it doesn't surprise me because I still remember it. I still remember you bringing the damn backpack to school full of paletas and dulces and all that stuff, and I'm just like, this freaking dude. But no, man, that's still pretty badass, dude. You're reminding me of so many crazy things that we do, that we have to do just to be able to like make it in some way or another, or just to keep ourselves just like distracted of the current situation.
Yep.
All right, dude. So now you're all right. Let's keep it moving then. So you're closing in on 18, dude. You're about to graduate. You're set on going to the Marines. You graduate and you enlist immediately, pretty much, right?
No. So my birthday, I was still in high school my senior year. I turned 18, I had like a lot of friends like hit me up and everything, and this sounds crazy, but like my phone was blown up and I was at the recruiter's office doing the paperwork, like I'm here to sign my name without my mom's permission or anything like that, you know, because I'm 18 years old now.
Yeah.
And my phone is going off, and he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my birthday." He's like, "How old are you?" "Oh, I'm 18. I'm just here, man. I'm ready to sign up."
Oh, dude. So you were still in school when you were still in school. You turned 18, and you're already at the recruiter's office, just ready to give up those freaking the next 4 to 8 years of your life.
Yeah. And like my phone was blown up, and like I even got like pictures like from some friends like, "Yo, let's go drinking, bro. I remember you." And I was like, "Nah, I need to do this right now." For like if I stray from my path, you know, I don't know where I would have been. I probably wouldn't be where I be right now.
Yeah, dude. No, that's pretty much true, dude. All right, then. Damn. So, all right. So you sign up. How was boot camp for you? When did you go to boot camp?
Okay, so I started boot camp September 15, 2013,
Okay.
and you know, it was boot camp for us. Shit, it was something interesting. You know, my friend told me like you get punished, you get disciplined. And I was like, shit, I already got that. So I'll see the worst. But before that, like they knew I was like an illegal person. So like most of the drill instructors, I only had like one Latino. Everybody else was after me because they knew I was going for citizenship.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get the citizenship through the military. Man, sometimes there be some funny shit. Like the worst moment in my life, because we don't have no cell phones and we write letters. We had this hour in boot camp called senior drill instructor square wait time.
Yeah.
We have an hour to like shave, bath, set up our camis for the next morning, and like send letters or like organize your locker and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, they had like their little hut, like the little dorm area for the drill instructors. Well, one of my friends decided to mock them and do their same voice. And the drill instructor stopped us at the first 10 minutes and they made us get all naked. And like 96 or 87 people, like dick to butt, try to fit in a 12-man shower stall screaming for 30 minutes.
What the?
And like,
oh God, dude. No.
Yeah, like
oh, man.
that, like I fucking ran and I took the corner. Like now we had like 15 minutes to shower, shave, finish letters and everything. I'm like, I still have this image in my head. I'm like, there was this kid in the middle with the tallest guys. They just got squished because like 12 people, 87 or 96 guys, and that ain't a nice day, man. It wasn't.
No, dude, no. That's some old school Marine shit right there, dude. That's like that's something you hear like after somebody joining in after, what do you call it, watching Full Metal Jacket in like the early 90s, dude, the early 2000s, like before we even knew anything about like how boot camp was and stuff like that. God, though, dude, no shit. So that there's that crazy experience already, man. So
but like around my second phase, sorry about that. My baby came out just a little bit. Sorry.
You good.
So in second phase, I finally gave me my citizenship test, and I was ready. And I've been studying at it like hard, like I would like no other.
Yeah.
And I passed. I was done with it in 5 minutes. I was like, that was citizenship. And they're like, wow, you're really smart. I'm like, this is the easiest test ever. Like, you know, it's over 100 trivia questions, but they only ask you 5 at random.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude.
And like, I answered that so fast, and by around graduation day, like they told us like, hey, welcome, you're in the United States American, but under our policy now, like with an honorable discharge, you lose, you go back to Mexico, because they had a card ripper.
Yeah.
And they like ripped my green card.
Yep. No, yeah, dude, dang. So you got processed like immediately. And no, dude, I had a whole different experience when it came to that. So like with the military, like one of the things that I know we all do a lot, and I'm gonna let you explain like you already explained your personal reason on why you joined it, but also this was an extra incentive for you to be able to become a better person, to be able to to add to the lineage. Like, not only are you paying forward this whole time that you were already in the country, you're wanting to pay that back. And then just the fact that you got your citizenship out of doing something like, honestly, I still consider any person that I've met, dude, freaking honorable service, regardless of how they left. Like, hell, people made decisions, whatever. Like, you at least tried and you did your honorable service to be able to receive what you're entitled to, dude. And that's one of those crazy things that, and well, not even crazy, one of those normal things that happens to us as illegal immigrants. When we have the opportunity, we want to give back to this country that essentially helped raise us in that sense. But yeah, dude. But no, dude, my experience was like a little bit different. I went in, and like within like the first week, they're like, hey, who's here basically has a green card. We're like, all right, like 5-6 people raised our hands, and they're like, all right, you're gonna go do this, you're gonna go fill out this paperwork. And for us, dude, it actually took like an extra month because our boot camp's only 2 months. But after the second month, I had gotten my what do you call it? Like closer to the end of boot camp graduation, I ended up doing the actual immigration test, dude. And yeah, dude, I remember it was like they literally ask you 5 questions, you sit down, it's just like that was all it was. And it's just like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, hey, here's your paperwork, here's your stuff. Just wait for when they call you in over at the state court to be able to swear you in. And this was when I was still in Chicago with post boot camp. With post boot camp, what do you call it? With A school, because I was an Untitled guy. I don't know what you guys call them in the Marines. The dudes that got no jobs.
Oh, military occupation school, or like, are you just waiting platoon? Like, you're just waiting to like start your next class or the next class to begin?
No, dude, no. Like, so you guys have all of you guys, regardless of how you go in, you guys have your MOS.
Yeah.
What we call our ratings. But no, dude. For me, there's literally like a specific thing in the Navy called UNDES. So it's called the Pact Sailor Program, the Professional Apprentice Career Track. And essentially, man, like how I've ever explained it to anybody, it's just like you're a chalan. You are literally just a chalan. You're just an extra hand that goes wherever the Navy needs you. And after like a year, you get to choose a job. You get to choose your specialty out of like however many are available. But there's no guarantee of anything. So yeah, dude. So basically, I stayed in Great Lakes for an extra month. I stayed in Great Lakes for an extra month at the school, just basic speciality. And then while I was there, they swore me in and everything. Like, it was the actual ceremony. Like, I got sworn in with like 20 to 30 different people, and like 7 or 8 of them were from the Navy, dude. And it's crazy how many people you see that are from the Navy that are there in just a really, really odd circumstances, because like out of everything and anything worldwide, we all end up in the United States. We all end up in the military service, not just specifically the Navy. We end up in the military service, and then somehow we end up in that same specific spot, trying to receive that extra compensation of the United States citizenship, and then continue to pay it forward with our service to the country. So it's just always been a really profound moment whenever I think back on it.
Yeah, no, man, it's been like it's pretty funny. Like I think one thing that's for funny, it's like us like Latinos, like when we try to get the citizenship, it's because like we appreciate this country just a little bit more than most people that like say this country sucks, or those Latinos that are like born here, like they see it like it's a fucked up country. But like at least in Mexico, you know who the bad guys are, and it can be pretty fucked up compared to here,
Oh yeah, dude.
Like we still haven't reached that point where we could pay a cop for corruption, but in Mexico that's still a thing, even from the 90s, man. That's
Dude.
like,
yeah, no, that's still way before the 90s, man. Way before even our time, dude.
and like nobody believes that. And I'm like, this anytime you could pay the police to get away from you, there ain't no government, and like everybody here like doesn't believe that. And I'm like, this country ain't that bad. It's just you guys complain too much if you don't visit another country.
Yeah.
And not just like visit the tourists, but visit the roots.
Oh yeah,
Like
dude.
that's the thing about like Latinos. Like we're not afraid to like visit different areas. I mean, shit. Now there's more Latinos in Mississippi or like visiting other states that they would never visit instead of the usual Texas, California, Nevada, or Florida.
Yeah, no, yeah, dude, no, you're right, dude. You were definitely right with that. And yeah, well, let's talking about travel. How how was it for you? Now you're a U.S. Marine. You're a U.S. Marine. You're stationed at your first duty station. You're at your first
Okay.
command. And when was the first time that you left the country?
So okay, so the first time I left was to Japan for 2 weeks. So like I said, like my job was very simple. I was just a water support technician. So I learned how to work on purifiers, laundry units, shower units, and all this other stuff like that relates to water, like for people, for resources, like when we're on the move.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, you're good on your job. You want to learn some other stuff? Sure." So they sent me with combat engineers because mostly nobody from my job wanted to be that. They wanted to be combat engineers, and they sent me to that platoon just to like learn some shit. And they sent it to Japan, and I guess my name got also involved by accident, and I went to Japan for 2 weeks for jungle warfare training.
Damn, dude, all the way to Japan?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
and that was some fun survival techniques. But like it was funny because it just reminded me of like Mexico, like where I'm from. Like I said, in down south, the south you get the more tropical it is and everything else. And I was like, oh, it almost feels the same.
Yeah.
And like everybody was freaking out. Like I knew like how to hunt, how to do some things. I mean, I showed them how to do like fishing with just like your shoestring and using MREs, and everybody got surprised.
Man, dude. No, and then those are the crazy skills that we bring to the table. Like and like what I've learned from a couple of the people that I've been in with, dude, is like it's the circumstances of your environment are gonna make you the person that you are. And then sometimes you tend to realize, and especially even more in the military, how much more capable you really are. And prove me wrong or if not with this, but every single person that you've met that's from outside of the United States, from a foreign country, usually has some sort of higher resource to be able to contribute to whatever party they're with, like their platoon, their squadron, or whatever group they're doing for training. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right about it.
Like how was
I think
so yeah, no, keep going, dude. Keep going.
so. Like the funny thing about like going to Japan, it's like Americans like they have this thing about like Latinos not speaking English, and like this was still going on, not even with Trump or anything like that. It was like Obama, and everybody still was dealing with that immigration.
Yeah.
Well, like when they went to talk to the Japanese, and they're like they gotta respect and learn people, and they don't know their language, and there's only like one person learning to translate. It only took like a couple Latinos and like other people that like, hey, I watch Japan or like Japanese anime or anything like that to communicate. Like I looked at the guys and I was like, no talking, yes or no. And like I would do something and I would wait for the guy to go like yes or no. And it was like, how do you communicate with your guy? And I was like, you got to make yourself easy to pass communication, like simple yes or no questions. Because that language barrier, whenever you go to a different country or a different world, you got to know how to communicate fast, get information across.
Yeah, no, it's really true, dude. And that's one of the things, those things that people don't see, that honestly people don't see when it comes to being an ESL student. Now they recognize and they know it's like people from the United States, people strictly restricted to one language, when like you're saying, dude, it's that whole thing about, well, why can't you speak English? Why can't you speak it like that? And yet the tables are turned as soon as you go to a different country and you have to rely on the next closest person. It's it's really weird for them. It's really weird for them. And I'm not trying to knock them down, but it's kind of like, it sometimes almost becomes a humbling moment, because I've had my fair share of experiences when I've had to do that too, dude. And it's like, they get so astounded and surprised, but at that certain point, there's still no respect for the fact of the knowledge of that we're able to provide with that. So those examples have basically been semi-neutral examples with being in the military. I mean, you're a resourceful dude. You're basically already far above and beyond when it comes to like the training that they're giving you. You're in fact you're already proficient in it beforehand, and now you're essentially showing them as a Latino, Hispano, literally as a complete foreigner, that you're able to be resourceful now. And it's completely up to you if you want to talk about it. Have you had any negative experiences while being in the Marines as a Mexican, as an Hispano, as somebody of a foreign culture, with either with yourself or with anybody else of your platoon mates?
I mean, I only have one, two, but the second one was a little weird experience with like my documentation. But the first one is like a funny one. It's a funny light story, but like my cousin is a grunt, and he got stationed now back in California. He was originally living in Japan, and I got to go visit him on the base, and the grunt lifestyle, like, the mindset of somebody who's like, their job is to train, kill, and do that mostly on a daily basis. I was doing it like 3 out of the 5 days of my week, but he was doing it like, 5 out of the 5 days. And I got to hang out, and these guys were like, hey, they just like very racist towards each other, but that's just their lingo. That's just how they are. Yeah. At one point, I was drinking with somebody named Tennessee. That was his nickname, and he was a machine gunner. He's just like calling me a wetback and all this, and my cousin's like, yo, he's straight out of Mexico. He's doing this for his citizenship. I was there. I think I was still 18, and I was drinking with this guy till like 4 a.m. and we're just going at each other, and I'm cussing him out in Spanish, and he's cussing me out in English. And eventually we just fucking fought, and everybody looked at us, and then I took a drink of his moonshine, he took a drink of my tequila, and we're like, fuck it, man. I mean, as long as the end, we're just still people together.
Yeah.
But like, the only weird time I ever had is like before I deployed to Bahrain. They made me like get rid of dual citizenship so I can have a clearance, so I can watch some videos or guard some outposts. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you can't have both Mexico and American citizenship. So they had to get rid of my passport, and I still have pictures on my iPod and on my iPhone and everything, like how I used to look at my passport. And they shredded it, and then they were going to do the paperwork, so I only have one citizenship. And they never cleared that out, so I was in Iraq clearing some spaces with no clearance. But, I lost my passport now. I have no Mexican passport, but I still have dual citizenship somehow, some way.
Wow, man. And yeah, dude, no, same thing happened to me too. It's one of those things that where I kind of explained it in one of my first episodes, talking about fronteras, and as well as the price of glory. I mean, it's a very, very specific thing that we have to give up. It really goes into that kind of duality. There's a very fine line between an internal battle. At that point, I don't know for you, dude. For me, when I had to give up my passport, I kind of had a feeling like at a certain point I kind of lost a little bit of my identity, like a little bit of who I was as myself, as Jose, man. And then knowing in fact that as soon as they took the passport, it's just like, now you're a U.S. citizen, strictly U.S. citizen. But I kind of switched it up because I ran into a couple of things with that where it just seemed a little weird that as soon as I did that, a couple of things changed with that, and then even a couple of interactions I had with like my supervisors and stuff. They're telling me, it's like, yeah, man, now you really are an American. I'm just like, now you really are a from the USA, and I'm just like, no, bro, no. It's like, yeah, like, you know what? That's not how it works. Like, I'm still a Mexican, and I'm still.
And you know what?
Yeah, like.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Here's the funny part. I think that people think that the military is on top of their stuff, but like, it took me like no less than a week to realize that they're probably not gonna like relinquish my citizenship, because you probably seen it firsthand, like the military admin or like the main support aspects, sometimes they fail so bad at passing down info.
Oh yeah,
It
dude.
says that some people can get away with like doing some stuff, or some people get forgotten for other stuff, you know?
Yeah. No, legit, and I can honestly attest to that because that's my primary work, dude. I am the admin handler, and I can tell you, it's just like it's literally just like any job, but the military has a really bad reputation with that, with a lot of things, dude. But no, and honestly, I'm not surprised that they really didn't truly revoke your dual citizenship if it still has it, because it's really hard to kind of like be persistent when you have outdated systems and outdated procedures to be able to try to retrofit and to try to make things work on a short notice basis with when things aren't communicating as they should. So yeah, dude, I definitely understand that portion. So all right, well, let's keep it moving with this, dude. So how did you feel though? How did you feel after they took your essentially they quote unquote stripped you of your nationality, your other nationality, your original nationality?
So like I wasn't that pissed because like I haven't seen Mexico in a while. Like the last time I saw Mexico was in eighth grade, so I was like not freaked out. But like it hit me, I think, towards the end of my last 2 weeks. My unit was deployed. It was a squadron. Yeah, it was a squadron. They all deployed, and there was a rear element of like, if 470 people left, I think like 120 stayed behind. I was one of the 120 that stayed behind. We had a lot of DUIs, and they were about to like secure our weekend. And at one point, there was this kid who was underage, and he was about to go drinking again. And I almost risked it all. Like I fucking beat the crap out of this kid. And I put him in his room because he was too drunk, and like he was about to secure a weekend. I was like, dude, you almost made me lose my citizenship because of your ass.
Yeah, dude. No, that's damn.
And like I was biting my tongue for a long time in the military. There were some times where like people knew me like I want to hurt somebody and everything in the Marine Corps. Like when I came in, hazing was a thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it still happens under the ropes, but like when I came in, it was like fuck paperwork. You're gonna get hazed. And yeah, sometimes I really wanted to haze on people's, and I just bit my tongue, or I like just did a shit ton of PT. But by the end of it, I finally snapped on somebody. I was like, I'm in a leadership position, because that guy was like, I was like, this guy's just gonna make it worse for everybody. And I was like, this is a community. Like the Marine Corps made me like feel like I was part of a community again, and it's going on. But like I never forgot where I came from. Like my platoon was like heavy Latino base. There was a very couple of people that like that weren't with us. Like utilities, there was a couple. It was very Latinos and a couple different people here and there. I mean, we had somebody from Africa, and I clicked with that guy more than like my my black staff sergeant or anything like that. But my friend from Africa, we had hardcore accents. They always made fun of us, but like they always said we're always gonna get in trouble.
No, yeah, dude. That's how it happens, though, too. That's how it happens. So, like, out of your entire experience, out of the 4 years, how many people did you meet from all over from all over the world? Like, so you already said there's a whole bunch of Latinos in your platoon and in your unit. What countries were they from?
So like I had somebody from India, I had somebody from the Philippines, I had somebody from straight out of Germany, one from Russia. My friend from Germany was also Spaniard, and they let him keep his triple citizenship, which was a crazy absurd thing. But yeah, no, Marine Corps is like very diverse group. Like some people join because they want to change. So you don't know where you get out of out of the bucket by the end. It's so weird, like what kind of people you get in the Marine Corps.
No, it's true. I mean, that's honestly just kind of the military in general. It's a little bit more. I don't know, dude. Like it seems like they just pour everybody into the same bucket, and there's no funnel or filter. Like you just get everything. You get anything and everything. Man, but dang, dude. So everybody you met was literally from all over the world, and I hear that a lot too. But I've always noticed too that in this is my personal observation, both the Marines and the Army have a really high number of Hispano Latinos. Like, can you attest? Can you honestly attest to that?
I mean, yeah, and I think some of the things I always laugh about is depending from this generation and the other one, but like from our generation, Blood In, Blood Out was a movie that came out and everybody knew it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if kids nowadays or like the early 2000 kids watch as much movies like we did, but like that shit influenced a bunch of Latinos when we came in. Like, what made you join? Cause I saw Blood In, Blood Out. I said, and I fucking would be laughing hella hard. But it'd be funny, like
Yeah.
movies with Latino culture, sometimes they influence us, like join the military or shit like that.
Yeah, dude. No, that's legit, dude. That's legit. But dang, man, that's honestly that's badass, dude. That's that's badass. I always see the memes too, man. I always see the memes of I don't know if you've seen this guy. He's on Mexican US Mar. He's got a whole bunch of Marines of Blood In, Blood Out, dude. Like, check him out, and it's funny because a lot of the stuff I see those and I'm like, yeah, I seen that part, man. Yeah. And I sometimes think like, shit, you know what? I think I kind of joined the wrong branch, bro.
Yeah, no, I know that the Navy has a lot of the Filipinos, and now I'm currently working with Filipinos, and I always tell them, man, I don't fear you guys. I fear the Filipino mafia and the Navy. I'm like, now that's some other level crazy stuff.
Oh, dude, that's a whole different conversation for another day, man. I don't know, dude. I don't want to touch on my service, but yeah, dude, that's a whole story for a different day. But no, dude, they're essentially, and I've had this conversation with a couple of the guys. Like, they're the Mexicans of the Southeast Asia, dude. They're literally the Mexicans of
Yeah.
Southeast Asia, man. And it's funny though. But man, dude, so you've had a whole crazy array of a lot of crazy things happen to you while you were in the Marines. What to kind of finish it off, what have been some of the best experiences that you've had in the Marines? What can you take out of what are some of the good and the bad things you can take out of having been in the Marines? If you can just do like a quick
So
summary.
one of the good things is like it taught me like to like so now I learn over time, but like one thing in the Marine Corps, like I said, I wanted to be a leader and learn my way. I could have been promoted to a sergeant, like right in the 2 years, which sounds like a kiss ass, but like me being on top of my shit, my higher ups wanted me to get promoted. I said I want to learn the ropes about being a leader, learning the ins and out from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that like how sometimes it's good to start from the bottom and know how a certain system works, but if you got the natural skill in life, don't hesitate nowadays. Like especially for any Latino out there, like if you got the skills or the mindsets of something and you're really good, don't hesitate. Don't give yourself time like, oh no, they will notice me later. No, no, no. Bite it. Like go for it, because if you don't, opportunity goes out really, really fast, man.
Man, no,
And like
dude.
one of like my bad experiences is like um if you don't like where like somewhere is or how some people act as leaders or people that are in charge of you, there's always that there's always that little bit of time, in the military. There's only that little bit of time. You're like, I can't wait till I get out. I'm not gonna be responsible, for like the lives of people. It's not that it's hard, but sometimes when you're like well known or people respect you, you are in charge of like so many people that could die, and you may have to bury them, man. And that's like some of the craziest things. Like you may be helping people.
Yeah, dude. No,
Oh,
and
but yeah.
it's legit.
All right, but I'm gonna have to go, man.
No, it's cool, dude. No, it's no problem, dude. I was actually gonna say it. I mean, that's a pretty good point to wrap it up with. But yeah, man. I mean, I was gonna ask if you had any questions or if you wanted to say anything else before we sign off.
No, like just like I said, stick to opportunity, because like opportunity doesn't like come by towards you. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to go. My baby's crying a lot.
Hey, it's
That's
cool,
my
dude.
first kid.
No worries, man. Hey, you go be a dad, dude. And then before we sign off, man, hey, thank you for doing this interview, man, and giving us some insight as a Mexican, as an Hispano, and then most importantly too, as a very high thriving U.S. citizen. Way, I really appreciate
Okay,
that,
man.
man. And then thank you for your service too, dude. Eh?
And thank you for yours too, man. All right,
All right,
later.
man. Thanks, dude.